Today's our topic is heat transfer. In last videos, we studied that heat flows from a body at higher temperature to a body at lower temperature. That is, suppose it is a hot body. It is a hot body, means body at higher temperature. This is a body at low temperature, that is cold. Hot body, it is a cold body. So heat flows from hot body to a cold body by itself, means without any work done. But this flow of heat takes place from hot body to cold body with the help of medium between the two or without the help of the medium. Based on this, whether heat is flowing from hot body to a cold body with the help of the medium or without the help of the medium, this heat transfer is broadly classified into different types. According to that, see, heat flows from hot body to a cold body with the help of medium. So that is with medium, with the help of medium. Medium is required. Here without medium, without medium, without medium, like this, right? Here once again, in some cases, heat is transferred from hot body to cold body without actual movement of the medium. Without actual movement. Without actual movement of the medium between hot body to cold body. Some cases with actual movement of the medium, with actual movement of the medium. So like that, heat transfer is broadly classified in different types. This mode of heat transfer, the heat transfer in which heat flows from hot body to cold body without actual movement of the medium between them, is called as conduction. Is called as conduction. You know, here medium is required, but there is no actual movement of the particles of the medium. Here this is called convection. Convection. So the mode of heat transfer without help of the medium is called as radiation. Okay. So in our topic, we have to study conduction, convection as well as radiation. Let's start with first, that is conduction. Conduction. So today's next point is conduction. Conduction. What is this conduction? You know, conduction is a mode of heat transfer without actual movement of the particles of the medium. Example, see, example, whenever we take a rod, right, you hold the rod here, hold here, at this point just you heat. So after some time you feel the rod gets hot. So this is because of a transfer of heat from here to here. But while heat is flowing, there is no movement of matter of the rod. This is called conduction. Actually, I don't want to go in detail theory of it. Just I want to take what is necessary to study KCET, NEET and JEE. Okay, see, conduction. As I said, in this case, heat is transferred without actual movement of the particles of the medium. How exactly it flows? Consider it is the body, conducting body. This end is in contact with a hot body. This end is in contact with a cold body. You know, this rod is having large number of atoms or molecules. They are arranged at regular distances. And second thing we have studied, whenever these atoms or molecules absorbs heat energy, they start to vibrate. The amplitude of vibration, so this whenever it absorbs heat energy, it start to vibrate. So amplitude of vibration depends on temperature raised, means amount of heat absorbed. As the temperature is increased, the amplitude of vibration also increases. You know here, so this end is in contact with a hot body. Then the particles in contact with the hot body receives heat energy. As soon as they receive heat energy, they start to vibrate. During vibration, this atom gets collide with the second atom. This is first, it is second. So during collision, this atom transfer heat energy to second atom. Then second atom start to vibrate. While vibrating, the second atom transfer heat energy to the third atom. Then this third atom transfer heat energy to the next, fourth atom, and so on. Like that, heat energy is transferred from this end of the conductor to this end, without actual movement from here to here. This is called as conduction. Okay, in theory we have studied some more words regarding to this. That is, see, whenever we take a rod, if you take a rod, whenever this rod is transferring heat energy from here to here, first this portion, or you take any portion, say I am taking this portion of rod. So when this portion of rod absorbs heat energy from its neighboring portion, after absorption, it utilizes this heat energy into two ways. One, so absorbed heat energy is utilized to raise the temperature. So when it absorbs heat energy, it utilizes some amount of heat energy to raise its temperature. So as soon as its temperature is raised, then the same portion of the rod will start to emit the energy in the form of radiation. This you are going to study in the next heading. So that is, for some amount of energy is used to raise the temperature, and remaining amount of energy is radiated. Actually, this before that, while heating, so it utilizes this energy in three ways. One, to raise the temperature. Second, to radiate energy. Third, it will transfer to the next portion. It will transfer its heat energy to the next portion. Okay, then how much it transferred to the next portion and how much it is radiated, it all depends on how much temperature is raised. You know, first, whenever it absorbs heat energy, it primarily utilizes the energy to raise the temperature. After that, how much energy is radiated, amount of heat energy radiated is directly proportional to the temperature raised, right? Then what happens, as and remaining amount of energy is transferred to the next, then as we go on provide the heat energy, temperature goes on increases. Once a state is reached, then what happens, so here how much energy it absorbs, that much energy it radiates. Amount of heat energy absorbed is equal to amount of heat energy raised. So in this state what happens, the temperature of this portion remains constant. Okay, so at this state, whenever we take the rod, when I take here, say temperature is T1, when I take here temperature is T2, when I take here temperature is T3. Of course, you know, while heat is transferring, the temperature of this portion and this portion are not same. They are not same. Okay, because how much heat energy it absorbs, that much heat energy it is not transferring. Hence, temperature of this portion and temperature of this portion are not same. Always, temperature of this portion, if I say T1, is greater than temperature of this portion T2. Hence, as I go on move that side, temperature goes on decreases. Then at this stage, when amount of heat energy received is equal to amount of heat energy radiated, then what happens, temperature of this portion remains constant as T1 and temperature of this portion remains as T2 and temperature of this portion remains as T3. Then that state is called as steady state. That is called as steady state. Steady state. What is a steady state? Means whenever a heat energy is given to a body, then temperature of a given surface remains same, even though it is heating. Then that state is called as steady state. You know, just now I said, whenever I take some thickness of the medium, of course, temperature of this portion and temperature of this portion are not same. But whenever I take this, if I take this as a surface, then on this surface, wherever we go, temperature remains same. Then this surface is called as isothermal surface. Isothermal. surface. Isothermal surface. Okay then, next. This is called isothermal surface. Next, so as we move from here to here, here to here, then temperature is changed. Say between them the distance is dx and change in the temperature from here to here is dt. This rate of change of temperature with respect to distance is called as temperature gradient. Temperature gradient. Temperature gradient. So this temperature gradient is nothing but change in temperature with respect to distance is called as temperature gradient. See, now you try to remember as a steady state, isothermal surface and temperature gradient. And next, see, according to next law of conductivity, thermal conductivity, law of thermal conductivity. Consider this is a rod whose length is L and this area of cross section is A. This area of cross section is A. Okay, then according to law of thermal conduction, the amount of heat energy flows. Suppose this end is maintained at temperature T1 and this end is maintained at temperature T2, such that T1 greater than T2. According to law of thermal conductivity, amount of heat energy transferred from higher temperature end to a lower temperature end is directly proportional to the area of cross section. Directly proportional to area of cross section. And amount of heat energy transferred is directly proportional to temperature difference. Temperature difference. And is directly proportional to time of flow of heat, means how much time heat is flowing from one end to another end. And same is inversely proportional to distance between the two ends of the conductor. Distance between the two ends of the conductor. Next, whenever we combine all, Q proportional to A into delta T into T divided by L. And to remove this proportionality sign, we have to add a constant called K A into delta T into small t by L. If I send it toward this side, it becomes Q divided by T is called as K A delta T divided by L. Okay. So this is called as a rate of flow of heat energy. This is called as rate of flow. Rate of flow of heat energy. Okay. K is nothing but a proportionality constant, and this proportionality constant is called as coefficient of thermal conductivity. Coefficient of thermal conductivity, or simply thermal conductivity. Okay, where K is called as thermal conductivity or coefficient of thermal conductivity. Okay, please pause the screen and note down. Here, if I take the unit of K, you know that this is nothing but energy divided by time. Energy divided by time is nothing but a power, okay. So its unit is watt. So actually I should take this. Its unit is meter square. Its unit is meter. Then 1 meter get cancelled, means I left with meter. It is Kelvin. If I divide this side, watt divided by meter Kelvin is the SI unit of K. That is watt per meter per Kelvin is a SI unit of thermal conductivity. This thermal conductivity decides how fast the material transfers the heat, or indirectly how fast the material gets heated. If the material has more K, that is the value of K is high, then it is said to be good thermal conductor. If material has low value of K, then it is called as bad conductor of heat. Okay, and in my opinion, this portion is very much similar to the current electricity. Here I am talking thermal conductivity. In current electricity, we have studied electrical conductivity. Both are same. And reciprocal of electrical conductivity was electrical resistivity. Here also reciprocal of K is called as thermal resistivity. Okay, next. And here we have a comparison. You know, here in sometimes before going to the next, actually what happens, dq by dt, here delta T, q by T means rate of flow of heat, and this delta T is nothing but change in temperature. Usually we write final minus initial is a delta T. But you know that when it is going from here to here, this is initial and it is final. Always initial is more, final is less. So it is like this, final is less, initial is more. Therefore this delta T is negative. Delta T is negative. Hence in most of the times, in some books it is written that Q by T is equal to minus K A difference in the temperature divided by L. This negative sign indicates that as we move in the direction of conductor, its temperature goes on, decreases. Okay, next. So here Q by T, this Q by T is also called as, it is nothing but rate of flow of heat. Rate of flow of heat. This rate of flow of heat, rate of flow of heat, rate of flow of heat is also called as heat current. Because always remember, rate of flow, how fast it flows, is called as a current. If charges are flowing, then rate of flow of charges was called as electric current. If water is flowing, rate of flow of water is called as water current. If heat is flowing, then rate of flow of heat is called as heat current. rate of flow of heat is called as heat current. Today this Q by T is nothing but heat current. That is the rate of flow is called as heat current. Then this heat current can be written as K A delta T divided by L. This you can also write it as I suffix H or simply I. I indicates current. Okay, see, if I compare this with electrical current, then so before going to that I can reshuffle this. Then this much I want to represent by I, heat current. Then as we know that delta T, which is responsible for flow of heat. So if there is no difference in the temperature, there is no flow of heat. Hence it is a responsible factor. Delta T can be written as I heat current into L divided by K A. This is very much similar to our current electricity. In current electricity, the main factor which is responsible to the flow of current was potential difference. This potential difference is equal to I into R. Here V is similar to delta T, and this I are same. Then here R is equal to L by K A. So there R was called as electrical resistance. Here this R is called as thermal resistance. This is called as thermal resistance. So thermal resistance is equal to R is equal to L by Ka. As in current electricity, I told, what is L? L is the distance between two phases between which current is flowing. This I'll clear you by taking examples. L means a distance between two phases between which current is flowing. K means conductivity. A means area of cross section. Now question, what are the factors on which R depends? Just you imagine our current electricity. In current electricity, we have studied that R means electrical resistance. R depends on electrical resistance depends on first nature of material, Second, it depends on dimensions of the conductor. And also their temperature. There it is temperature. Okay. Here also it depends on three factors. This R depends on nature of material, dimensions of the conductor, and nature of the material. But remember here, how it depends on temperature. When it depends on temperature means whenever there is a large difference in the temperature, whenever this delta T is very, very large, then only R depends on temperature, or otherwise it remains constant. Whereas K K depends on K depends on K depends on, first to remember, it depends on nature of material. First, it depends on nature of material. Nature of material. Second, it depends on temperature. Once again remember, K varies only when there is a large difference in the temperature. For small changes in temperature, there is no change in K. K almost remains constant for small change in temperature. Okay, if you want, you can mention this. Okay, one more thing, try to remember. What is R? R means thermal resistance. What is thermal resistance? It is nothing but the opposition offered by the conductor. Opposition offered by the conductor to the flow of heat. To the flow of heat. Okay. Now, actually, I should take problems on law of conductivity. But before going to that, I want to discuss one or two problems on thermal resistance. This part is 99.99% similar to our current electricity. Only we have to replace the terms, that's all. Okay. So problems on thermal resistance. Problems on thermal resistance. You feel that I am repeating the current electricity. You feel that I am repeating the current electricity. Hope you know, just now I wrote the thermal resistance. R is equal to L by K A. R is equal to L by K A. Once again I repeat, L means distance between the two phases between which heat is flowing. K means thermal conductivity. A means area of cross section. Okay, now let us consider a cuboid or rectangular conductor. It is left to you. Consider it is a rectangular conductor. Like this. Okay. Right, if I said is A, B, C, D, it is P, Q, R, S. And for your convenience, try to remember this to this distance is taken as A, and this to this distance you can take it as B, and this height you can call it as C. Okay. Now first it is, what is the thermal resistance between the phases? The thermal resistance between phases. First, between the phases, first I'll write A, B, C, D. Between the phase A, B, C, D, and I'll take this P, Q, R, S. PQRS. Thermal resistance between the phases A, B, C, D and PQRS. Means I want to know the resistance between these two phases. Means suppose it flows from here to here like this. Heat is flowing in this direction. Then R is equal to, as I said, L means distance between the two phases between which resistance is measured. So today I am measuring between this and this phase. Hence distance between them is A divided by K remains same. What is the area of cross section? A means here the area perpendicular to the direction of flow of heat. Area perpendicular to the direction of flow of heat means here. What is this area? This or this? Here it is nothing but B, it is C. Area is nothing but B into C. Okay, next. I'll take the next. Between A, B, C, D, P, Q, R, S over. Next I'll take this top and bottom. Between phases A, B, Q, P. That is a top face. And bottom face C, D, S, R. C, D, S, R. As we know, R is equal to. So L means distance between A, B, Q, P and C, D, S, R. Between these two faces. Distance is this, that is C. Divided by K as it is. Area of this face, this area. Or this, whatever you can take. Area is nothing but this into AB. Next and last case, third. Between the faces front and back, front is BQRC. And BQRC and back APSD. Then see R is equal to, first, distance between the two faces between which heat is flowing. So front to back distance is nothing but B divided by K as it is. Area of cross section means area is this. It is nothing but A, it is C. A into C. Hope you understood. Okay. Same we have taken in current electricity. Here instead of K we wrote rho. Okay, that's all. Here 1 by K is equal to rho. Okay, please pause the screen and note down. Okay, next. Here resistance of hollow cylinder. Next is resistance of resistance of hollow cylinder. Resistance of hollow cylinder. Okay. See, consider a hollow cylinder Okay, see this inner, this is the axis I can take. This inner portion has a radius r1, this outer portion has radius r2, right? Then suppose it is at higher temperature, say T1, it is at lower temperature, say T2. Now heat is flowing from higher temperature to lower temperature, and its length of the conductor is L, and thermal conductivity of this conductor is K. Then what is the thermal resistance? What is the thermal resistance is the question. So for that, simple, R is equal to directly I will try to write. L means a distance between the two faces between which thermal current is flowing. That distance is nothing but L, whole divided by K as it is. What is A? A means area of cross section. Question arises, which area should be written? Whether area of hollow portion or complete area of cross section or area of solid portion. That is the question. Then answer, here we have to write area of solid portion. Area of solid portion. But how do we write area of solid portion? You know, area of solid portion is equal to complete area. We have to write first, we have to take complete area minus area of hollow portion, area of cross section. So this is nothing but pi. Complete means R2 square minus pi R1 square. Okay, if I take pi common, then it is R2 square minus R1 square. Then what is the resistance? What is the thermal resistance? Here I can write thermal resistance R is equal to L divided by K. The area of solid portion means pi into R2 square minus R1 square. This is the resistance of hollow cylinder when current is flowing, heat current is flowing in this direction. Please pause the screen and note down. Now, if I change the same problem, but only difference is the flow of current, this heat current. Same thing, already I have taken in current electricity, okay. See now, suppose here inner portion has, this portion has temperature T1 and outer portion has a temperature T2, such that T2 greater than T1. Then what is the resistance of this hollow cylinder? Okay, here what happens now, heat current flows like this from inner portion to outer portion like this, inner portion to outer portion. Okay, so like this. Like this. Here heat flows from inner portion to outer portion like this. Then what is the thermal resistance? Please refer current electricity topic and try to solve this question. In next video, I'll continue thermal resistance problems.